Hi, welcome back to Hot Topics TV, y'all. You already know if the topic is hot, we're on it. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get right into this one. There's a lot of people out there who are still defending R. Kelly. There's a lot of people that are saying, hey, you know what? I'm able to separate the man from the music, so I'll never stop listening to his music. And I respect his musical talent. What he did was outside of the music. So I'll continue to listen to the music, but I still condemn him for what he is done and what he's being convicted for or being dragged through the court system for. A lot of people out here are also saying, listen, R. Kelly was railroaded. He's gotten too much time behind bars so far, and they're trying to bury him. People are even trying to justify it by using the color thing, and they're saying, hey, when white guys do it, they don't get so much time. But they want to bury R. Kelly under the jail. And none of these parents who made their children available to R. Kelly are being prosecuted when these parents knew damn well what they were doing and what was going on, and they were willing to take either a payoff or that their child would become a star because Kelly had the power to make them into that, like an Aaliyah or something like that, right? So Kelly must ride this wave alone, and it's not looking good for him. R. Kelly just got hit with a whole lot of time. And I don't know how deep they're trying to bury him under the jail, but I know for a fact that by the time they're done with all his cases, R. Kelly looks like he'll probably never ever be free again. He will spend the remainder of his life in prison. Now, whether he can make it inside of prison or not, hey, that's up to him. Listen, a lot of people on his team, man, they've jumped ship, because prosecution has came for them as well, saying that, hey, you helped him. You coerced. You brought victims to him. You were a part of this. You facilitated. So we got some charges for you unless you start talking. Nobody wants to go to prison, especially in their 40s and 50s and 60s and whatnot. So people are like, hey, listen. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. Just broker me a deal. And the deal says I give you everything on a platter and I am not going to go to prison myself. I can't help but to think that some of these people are spicing the stories up a bit. Giving them, like, the more you give them is the more they'll give back to you. Right? So desperate R. Kelly offered $1 million for the return of a specific video is the latest headline. I'm sure y'all saw the video where or the news headlines where he had thousands of dollars on his books in prison. If you got thousands of dollars on your books, you're the man. You're in there, you could buy stuff. You could buy people. Not anymore. The government confiscated all the money off his books, and I think they left about $500 or $50 or something like that. I don't remember how much it was they left on there, but it wasn't the thousands of dollars that was on his books before. And they did that quickly. So here's the news. A former merchandising agent for R. Kelly testified on Tuesday that the singer offered him $1 million to find a VHS tape that featuring R. Kelly, as prosecutors sought to persuade jurors that R. Kelly was desperate to recover the missing tape, knowing that it could land him in legal troubles if it fell into the hands of law enforcement. I don't even know why R. Kelly did this shit in the first place, man. Like, he would set up video recording equipment all over the place, and he would videotape his exploits. And he actually had a room full of VHS tapes all over the place. And there were tapes there where you can hear him asking the girl to state her age. And she stated her age before they got involved in sexual activities. So, I mean, you can't save somebody like that. As much as we might have loved him, grow up with him, been endeared to him, like his talent, feel like he's being railroaded, there's nothing you can say when you see a videotape like that. Imagine that man saying, how old are you, baby? And the girl says 14. and he's laughing and he's like, say your age again, and she says 14, and then they conduct some sexual activities, and you record it and you save it. Like, what the hell? And somebody took it, and now you're frantic, and now you're like, oh shit, if the police get that, I'm going to prison. So now you have some special agent type of dude out here doing some, I don't know, some magic shit, trying to recover this tape that could get you put in prison, and you're willing to pay $1 million cash up front to get that tape back. Why was he living on the edge like that? Now, based in part on the recording, which prosecutors says, and now listen, the prosecution has this tape. So for those of you who are still saying, nah, they're making up stuff against him, they have this tape. Based in part on the recording, that particular recording, which prosecutors says shows the R&B star, R. Kelly, sexually abusing a 14-year-old girl. Kelly faces charges that include production of child pornography. On top of that, he is also accused of fixing his 2008 state child pornography trial by threatening the witnesses and endeavoring to conceal video evidence. Threatened them, paid off some people, sent some goons over there to have them accept his deal. Hey, take this $50,000 right here and get the fuck out of town for a couple of weeks. Lay low, or we make you disappear for good. If they catch up with you, all you got to do is say, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not me. I wasn't on the tape. These same people who took the money and ran have now come back to say, okay, let me tell y'all the truth. It was us. We were on the tape. I was young then, and I said, no, it wasn't me then, but it was me. Charles Freeman testified Tuesday that R. Kelly reached out to him in 2001 to ask him to hunt down the recording. I want y'all to pay attention to something. See, my grandmama always said this, right? Whatever is done in the dark, it's going to come to light, baby. And you ain't going to be able to outrun it. It don't matter if it's tomorrow, 24 hours, 2 months, a year, or 50 years from now. But it's going to come back to bite you in the ass if it's something that you did that was wrong or bad, right? 2001, he's doing all this. We are in 2022. That's a long run. In Jamaica, we have a saying, long run, short catch. He's caught. I'm sure in 2001, R. Kelly never foresaw what was about to take place in his life in 2022. So here he is. This man is willing to get up there and testify in court. And he did. He testified on Tuesday that R. Kelly reached out to him in 2001 and asked him to hunt down the recording. Freeman is now 52 years old, and he's from Kansas City. He also explained how he pressured R. Kelly and his associates for years to pay him the full $1 million after he actually found the tape and returned the tape to him. So he found the tape and he returned the tape, and R. Kelly did not want to pay him the whole $1 million. I think R. Kelly started saying, did you make a copy of the tape so you could use it to blackmail me? And he was saying, no, I didn't. I found the tape and I brought the tape back to you. You know? So Kelly was always leery that there was a copy made of the tape that was going to come back to him. But a deal is a deal, my man. And you said you would give me $1 million to locate the tape and bring the tape back to you. I located the tape. I brought the tape back to you. Now I'm chasing you for years to get my full payment of my $1 million. Freeman sat up there and told the jurors that he didn't know what was on the video until after he got it from a house in Atlanta in 2001. And then he slipped it into the VHS player at a friend's home Later on that day, he said, let me see what this is. And he said, lo and behold, this is some crazy shit. He told the jury, I observed R. Kelly with a young lady having sex. Now check it out. If y'all know anything about VHS, there was a way for you to burn a VHS or copy it off. If you had one of them double headers that had 2 tapes in it, you could copy that tape from one onto the next one. So someone could very well have made a copy of that tape. Here, you can take the original. And then later on, you get that phone call. Hey, you think you got your tape back? Listen, we made a copy of that. You're going to have to pay another $1 million. And he would forever be extorted. But you know what? You made your bed, so you're going to have to lie in it. He got up there and he told the jury that I did get the video. It was in a house that R. Kelly told me where it was at. We went in there and we got it. And just before returning it to him, I sat down at my homie's house and I watched it because I wanted to see what was on it that he was willing to pay $1 million to get back. And I seen him on there having sex with a young lady. When a prosecutor asked Freeman, who testified on Tuesday under an immunity agreement, why it took him nearly 2 decades to turn that recording over to the police, that and other recordings of child pornography that were tied to Kelly, Freeman responded and said, because the police wasn't going to pay me $1 million. R. Kelly was going to pay me $1 million. This was he was saying like, yo, this was my retirement policy. You understand? I was in the money. So I held on to it. Now, of course, a lot of people are saying that's the reason why your ass should have went to jail. Because the fact that you held on to that also gave him a leeway to feel like he was untouchable. He knew where the tape was at. He knew that you had it and you guys over there bargaining. And in the meantime, he went on to do the same thing to other young ladies. R. Kelly, who is currently 55 years old, is already serving a 30-year prison sentence. He got hit with 30 friggin' years already, which was imposed by a federal judge in New York in June for his 2021 conviction of racketeering and sex trafficking charges. If convicted in Chicago, he could see similar years added to that sentence as well. I don't know. I'm not too privy to the information about the Fed system, but I was told that in the Feds, 1 day counts for 2 days, as in daytime is 1 day and nighttime is another day. So 30 years will actually work out to be 15 years. So if he is 55 and he does 15 years, he's looking at coming out at about 70 years old. That's all cool and good. 70 years old, he's out of prison. But check it. He's going through another case right now that could get him another 30 years or even more. That's crazy. So at his 2008 trial, at which R. Kelly was ultimately acquitted, state prosecutors described R. Kelly's lugging a duffel bag full of homemade child pornography tapes everywhere he went. Despite Kelly's efforts in the 90s to keep them close to him, some of those tapes leaked out or were stolen by disgruntled workers or by friends who actually were people who wanted to exploit him. So they were pretending to be his friends. They knew what was in the tapes. And it was like, yo, if I could get my hands on one of these tapes, then I could extort his ass and I could get rich. Which is what the person who he actually paid $1 million or wanted to pay $1 million to recover one of the tapes, that person ended up having the same thing in mind. So he told the police, listen, I didn't bring the tape to y'all because y'all wasn't going to pay me $1 million. He was. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I had to like be on him about it because he said it. So I thought he was going to be a man of his word. and he wasn't. He kept giving me money little by little by little. That's why I kept holding on to the tape, because it wasn't like he wasn't paying me at all. He was paying me, but he was paying me slow and in pieces when it was supposed to be $1 million up front. Now, after acquitting R. Kelly in 2000, first of all, yo, listen, this is crazy. When they said that at his 2008 trial, at which R. Kelly was ultimately acquitted, state prosecutors described R. Kelly as lugging a duffel bag full of his homemade child pornography tapes everywhere he went, just trying to keep them close to him so nobody else would get a hold of them. That's some sick shit. That's crazy. I can't imagine you being so paranoid, like you go everywhere you go, that bag has to go with you. And it's a duffel bag full of these tapes. And after his acquittal, some jurors told reporters that they had no choice but to find him not guilty, because the girl, who back then was in her 20s, did not take the witness stand to confirm it. That it was her in the video. Last week, she did testify. She showed up. She testified at the federal trial in Chicago, saying, yes, that was me. I was the minor in the video with R. Kelly. And I was a minor and he was an adult male. But actually getting the $1 million Freeman said he was promised by R. Kelly became an all-consuming task that lasted for years. I had to be all over this man, chasing him everywhere for my damn money. Soon after Freeman found that video, he met with 2 other R. Kelly associates in 2001 at a Kansas City hotel, expecting to receive his full payment. This is what he told the jury. I met up with them. Kelly sent them over there at a hotel. I'm expecting to turn over the tape and get my $1 million. When he walked into the room and saw 2 brown bags full of cash, he told jurors he knew right away that, hey, them 2 paper bags full of cash, that's not $2 million. That's not enough to be $2 million. So he walked in and he said, hey, man, that ain't not $2 million, but $1 million. And he walked in and he said, yo, them 2 brown paper bags, that ain't no $1 million. This is what he told the jury that he said as soon as he walked in the room. Y'all can't fool me. That ain't no $1 million. Freeman said that he ended up leaving with 1 paper bag stuffed with $75,000 in cash in it, after being assured by these people that he'd eventually get the full $1 million. Even after turning over the tape and getting partial payment, Freeman retained enormous leverage over R. Kelly, including the possibility that he could go public with what he knew. So he told R. Kelly, he said, listen, you can have the tape, but I seen it. I watched it, and I could describe to you everything that's on it. Freeman described himself stalking R. Kelly. He told the jury, I was stalking his ass. I stalked him at a concert. I was out there trying to demand that he pay me the balance of my money, of my $1 million. I threatened to go public with what I knew and filing a lawsuit to squeeze R. Kelly to pay him. He said that each threat and lawsuit typically led to R. Kelly associates throwing a little bit more money at him, sometimes literally coming up to him with a bundle of money and just throwing it at him aggressively. Another time at R. Kelly's suburban Chicago home, Freeman said that Kelly associates and now co-defendants on the ongoing trial, Daryl McDavid, told Freeman to take off all his clothes and get into Kelly's swimming pool so that he could be sure that Freeman wasn't wearing a recording device by law enforcement officials. So they were already looking at him like, you a snitch, right? Take all your clothes off. Get in the pool. We'll talk to you in the middle of the pool. He said, I ain't getting in no damn pool naked, man. Freeman recalls telling McDavid. Freeman said that he eventually did take his shirt off to show that, hey man, I'm not wearing no wires, but I ain't getting in no damn pool. Later, as he pulled out of the parking lot, McDavid gave Freeman another installment. He tossed him a brown bag that had $100,000 in 10 bundles of $10,000 in it. He threw it to him through the car window. McDavid and another Kelly associate named Milton Brown, and this man is in court calling up all these names. They are on trial with R. Kelly. McDavid is accused of helping R. Kelly to fix the 2008 trial, while Brown is charged with receiving the child pornography and not turning it over to law enforcement. Like Kelly, they also have denied doing anything wrong. Freeman testified that in the late 2003 to early 2004, McDavid approached him again after recovering yet another tape that had gone missing from R. Kelly's collection. He said he told McDavid, if I gotta recover another tape, you're gonna have to pay me another $1 million. Freeman is expected to take the stand on Wednesday again, when defense attorneys will have their chances to cross-examine him. People, listen, R. Kelly, this is the end of him. Okay, I have no doubt that this kind of testimony is going to seal his faith and Kelly ain't coming out of prison alive. I think he will be in prison until he's about 100 and something years old. If he could live that long, then he might outlive this sentence. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. You already know if the topic is hot, we're on it. It's Hot Topics TV. I'm out. Peace.